Autistic Church, letting go of the stuck stuff, getting into the sticky spots, holding the resistance to being free. Because at some point our freedom, our devotion to freedom, our natural relationship to freedom, to flexibility, made us stand out in ways that were really awkward, threatening to the environments around us. They didn't understand and didn't appreciate. Autistic Church is for anyone who can relate to the need to plug in above and below, be recycling energy, be practicing permission to be as exquisitely sensitive as we are, which requires us, if we are actually respecting our exquisite sensitivity, we are in ongoing exchange with Source and with the earth. Moving energy, recycling energy, circulating energy. And we honor this as a priority, as our main job, as the job that serves all the other jobs, which really simplifies the day, simplifies navigation. Oh, this comes up in this area. Discharge and circulation in any way that crosses my mind supports me to thoroughly attend. Oh, something comes up in this area. Discharge and circulation in any way that crosses my mind supports me to thoroughly attend. And as I thoroughly attend in this area, it actually eliminates, dissolves the challenges that were lined up for me in this area over here, because the energy is flowing now, which is meeting the needs of all the parts, the different personalities, the possibilities. And I am this anchored antenna for consciousness and for feeling at ease in the extreme consciousness that is available to me in my flexibility and openness, which is my authentic, exquisitely sensitive state. Autistic Church is especially for the people who have not been able to deny their exquisite sensitivity the way some people are able to more easily, which doesn't make those people bad or wrong or not sensitive. It's just a difference in design, and we are built to complement. But the complement requires us to be in respect with our authentic design. It is time for neurodivergent people and all people to respect themselves so that we can complement. And we need to move a lot of energy in both like fierce, ferocious, rather furious expressions, because there are parts of us upset about the betrayals, abandonments, rejections, neglect that's been going on in terms of respecting our exquisite sensitivity, no matter where you fall on the spectrum of sensitivity. Where neurodivergent people are simply more readily, more extremely in contact with the sensitivity that is possible through these bodies as soulful consciousness in these bodies. We are here less able to deny that that is the authentic design of the human being. So in honoring ourselves, we honor all of us, which doesn't mean we all have to be the same. We don't have to pit ourselves, position ourselves against something to honor ourselves. There is a sameness in our design. As human beings, we are channels of moving energy. And some of us came here, arrived on Earth, designed to be less able to deny ourselves the need for ongoing discharge. Whereas some designs are better equipped to believe themselves okay with holding a lot of energy inside the body, which isn't any human being's authentic design. We are designed to discharge and circulate energy. Our capacity to hold energy is equivalent to our capacity to forget how free we are. And I don't witness many people on earth disinterested in freedom, though their interest in freedom takes different forms. And some of those forms are really influenced by external authorities that profit from the fear that's accumulated in our bodies, in our generations, in our people, in the desire for freedom, and the felt sense knowing that freedom isn't exactly where we're at. Afraid to get further away from freedom, and thereby feeding the opposite of freedom with fear. We attend to this in every and any way that we consciously move energy, or that we consciously or unconsciously allow our childish impulses to be engaged, to lead us in the direction of healthy, active discharge and circulation. And it may take some adjustment, some acclimatizing to recognize your impulses as intelligent as they are, that they are always leading you into discharge and circulation, and that there are healthy, safe, honest and kind versions of the impulses available to you at all times. This is just an overall system massage, Reiki, quantum energy massage, because your insides already know everything that I'm saying. This is our natural intelligence. I happen to be a verbal channel here, putting it into words, but it is a non-verbal intelligence that your system is deeply, deeply familiar with, but there are familiarities of forgetting that have been piling up on top. And so it's about moving energy to dissolve that forgetting piled up on top so that the authentic, very natural, very innate wisdom of you, of your authentic design, can shine, can be alive and well, can lead the way. And there isn't so much thinking and figuring and weighing and measuring in a reality where your natural energy mastery is allowed to lead. It's a lifestyle of ease, which doesn't make everything exactly easy. There's a lot of density going on in the collective field. We will arrive at things that feel hard or rigid or dense. But when we're riding that ease inside ourselves, of feeling safe inside ourselves, because we actually have recognition and understanding and respect going on for our authentic design, DCFO, discharge plus circulation equals flexibility and openness, we can meet ourselves in the face of that hardness, of that challenge, of that density, and move enough energy that it dissolves and becomes. Any energy there is allowed to flow, is allowed to discharge and circulate, which opens that pathway. And open pathways equate to ease. And it's important that we practice together so that we feel the permission to be safe with ourselves in this. So that we feel really supported to ground, to anchor through our bodies, to be with the high sensation of the high frequency of flexibility and openness, so that we can retrain, reparent our nervous systems, to become familiar with the ease instead of the chaos and trauma that many of us are currently extremely familiar with. And the ego seeks familiar. So last night I was really visiting a familiar place, familiar sensations of meltdown, of feeling like of death, like feeling like my ego is on that edge of shattering, which doesn't look good. It feels quite volatile. But that's the resistance, the ego resistance to the melting, the bowing to soul, which is beyond the identity that the ego is holding. And that's one of the hard, rigid things that we meet. It might very well be the hardest thing that we meet, is that resistance to letting our own identity, the story, the energy in the story that we've been identifying with, actually allowing that to discharge and circulate. Because that story isn't our authentic identity. The authentic identity is underneath that, and it's much more flexible and open. It's flowing a lot more energy. It's a lot more higher frequency than the density of that story that we've been relying on as identity, which helped us to belong in certain places. It was smart in many ways that was going on. It helped us to survive. But what we're doing is dissolving, melting, recycling the familiarity with surviving, so that we can exist in the ease, the thriving of the open pathways that are no longer holding, storing, clinging to those dense stories. Our identity becomes, we remember our identity as the flexibility and openness, which allows for the authentic soul expression. And I've never experienced anything more satisfying than that, even though I've been great at masking and getting along and playing certain roles, performing. And that's all still available to us in the flexibility and openness. But it's a different frequency when we consciously step into and out of performances as opposed to believing the performance as our own personality or as something that we should be able to be constantly or consistently. That's not flow. That's not the authentic flexibility and openness of soul expression, which is more fulfilling than any ability to be anything in particular for any amount of time. Even though that's what we've been taught to strive for, that's what we've been taught is the definition of success. It's intense. But being a soul is intense. It's immaculately stimulating. And we stim ourselves, like engaging these videos, doing physical stimming to say yes, yes, yes to discharge and circulation so that we can feel friendly with ourselves in the stimulation, in the high sensation of how much energy can actually move through us. And the more energy that can move through us from a grounded, open, a flexible, tapped in, turned on state, the higher the frequency. And the higher the frequency means the less impacted and the less perpetuating a person is of judgment, of fear-based beliefs and behavior that's holding you back, that's holding us back. There are such beautiful realities available to us beyond judgment. But most of us are conditioned to judge, judge, judge in really overt ways and in really subtle ways. Really, really subtle ways. And it's about playing with ourselves, stimming the system playfully to move energy, to notice where it's stuck, to notice where the resistance and stuckness is. That's where the judgment is. Sometimes it's really obvious. Sometimes it's so sneaky. And we want to catch all of it. And in that, it's just the most yummy, scrumptious, delicious, delightful game puzzle on earth. And it's free. And it is freedom. And for some reason that I don't fully remember, I came to earth so intrinsically devoted to wanting, to desiring that freedom for myself, but also for us. And for a long time, that looked like force. It looked like fighting. It looked like fawning. And so I'm putting myself out there, even though I'm a storm on the Mayan calendar, and my great relief is being invisible, actually. It's not particularly comfortable or at the forefront of my dream to be a public face. But at the same time, I can feel my promise inside to be seen, to be an example, which doesn't mean that I'm always exemplary. I am tripping over the fault lines and fucking up regularly. But part of the example is being honest and kind with myself in that process. And everybody is worthy of that. And it's taken investment, lots of investment, to feel aligned with my own worthiness. And sometimes, like last night, I'm meeting the places in me still holding the energy of doubt, still holding the energy of self-rejection that was learned through interpersonal rejection. And coming to earth being an exquisitely sensitive expression of human, an accelerated, extreme expression of sensitivity. There was a lot of judgment and fear-based projection and interaction going on in my family unit. Like, what is this creature that is so provocative, so determinedly willing to address and express emotion? We don't like it. We want to like her, we try to like her, but we don't like it. And I learned in that to not like myself, because there was no off button exactly on the draw towards emotional energetic intelligence. And the attempts to turn it off looked like expressions of pain, immense sadness, fury. Which also then made me an easy scapegoat for reasons why not to engage emotion, conversations, verbal and nonverbal, on energy. I became my own arch nemesis, is what I hear. I became the escape hatch for everyone when all I wanted was for no one to be able to escape and for us to have to face it together. But forcing that didn't freaking work. And trying to join them through the escape hatch sure didn't work. Blaming myself didn't help me to belong. Rejecting what comes naturally to me didn't create any consistent belonging with friends or family. So I'm on this journey of defining, redefining what friendship and family even means to me. Definitions that actually honor exquisite sensitivity and that prioritize emotional and energetic conversation, flow, respect, integrity. So that the belonging is internal and thereby external. And if that sounds like fuck yes to you, please join me in kindergarten. It's the most accessible offer that I have going on other than all of the free stuff. And I do so hope that you are enjoying all of the free stuff. I'll have the DCFO micro course fully out and flowing this week, I do believe. Oh, don't double cross, right? That like is a double negative. I do believe. I've been getting these big clearings. Shout out to the mountain elf who's been working with me on that, clearing root and then clearing sacral. So these past few weeks have been really swirly. And we're going into the solar plexus this week. But I already know what's in there in a big way. It's this devotion to DCFO. It's this refusal to let go of the innate inner knowing that emotional and energetic intelligence sets us free, and that I'm here for that, and that no matter how much I've hurt myself or found myself expressing hurt, that all of it is informing and amplifying the need and devotion to emotional, energetic freedom, which equates to overall freedom. Manifestation of freedom, spiritual connection, relatedness, freedom. It's the undoing of narcissistic conditioning. It's the undoing of painful patriarchal overlording. It is the divine feminine rising. It is the reconciliation of colonial impact. And the kindergarten gang, currently small but mighty, with tons of room for you, is a place of practice. Practicing being in communion with your super self, the place in you that already knows all of this so well, that's been alive and well the whole time, just buried. This is an invitation to come play, to come participate, especially get in right now if you're seeing this right away, but also anytime. I was going to say, because we're getting together for 2 hours this week to move energy with the full moon, but we're getting together for 2 hours every new moon and every full moon, moving energy, engaging ourselves primarily in various non-verbal ways to remember that deep, basic, potent, powerful, non-verbal intelligence, the instinct and intuition of the baby, of the child, who knows how to discharge and circulate for flexibility and openness, who is anchored in authentic freedom, speaking the language of energy, who feels the simplicity of emotional flow, the relief, the wisdom of emotional energetic flow, which lets us be wholehearted. It enables our honesty and kindness at the same time, and every aspect of our individual self is worthy of that. Get in on the kindergarten gang. You can cancel anytime. You can stay forever. You can use it as a baseline to engage your other commitments, or to engage additional commitments in the DCFO Unschool, exploring the workshop Undoing Narcissistic Conditioning in You, remembering how to position yourself in your body, in your energy bubble, in your sentences, in your expressions, so that you are anchored in that freedom, in that sovereignty, so that you can experience the fluidity and flow of authentic, respectful interdependence, of high-level justice, through some simple but repetitive adjustments. Or maybe mission, which is the kundalini, Reiki, attunement, mystery school experience of really playing with quantum energy, really being a surrendered channel, an impactful, efficient, effective surrendered channel. Or maybe you really desire one-on-one support. Apprenticeship Mastery is working really intimately with me on the existentially kinky self-love and shadow integration. Kindergarten is a baseline for all of it. It is the home base. And it's always open. Whenever you're seeing this, this is a timeless transmission that is a whole microdose of DCFO in and of itself. Working on your system to remember to hear the big, deep fuck yes of your own freedom. Thank you for sitting with me. Please, if you've made it all the way through this 32 minutes with me, put some hearts, lots of hearts in the comments. Please do like, subscribe, comment, support this channel to grow, support our community, because we amplify each other's efforts, we amplify each other's investments, so that the remembering comes easier, so that the ease feels more flowing, so that we feel so anchored, supported, and loved enough to remember, even in the face of those hard moments when the resistance comes up, when the ego says, don't go any further, this isn't familiar. You can hear and feel the thing that's deepest in you that says, oh fuck yes. It might have been a long time since I fully lived in the familiarity with freedom, but I feel it, and I choose it, and I allow it. And that right there dissolves the resistance. No matter how many gates of resistance you have to meet along the way, that's the strategy. We're discharging and circulating enough energy to be able to meet ourselves in that, making our way all the way into the freedom, the authentic expression, the soul expressed sovereignty that allows successful, embodied justice, interdependence. I don't know about you, but that's what I'm here for. And I feel it throbbing, thriving in its aliveness, calling us home. If anything that I've mentioned here about the DCFO Unschool is appealing to you, you can find more information in the description box below. You can also email me anytime. For right now, I'm going to seal this up. Big golden infinity sign and a platinum infinity sign as well. And both of those going to center of the psyche, center of the heart, sacral center, soul center. Fuck yes, my friend.